Hello and welcome to video presentation on principles of management and economics. So today we will start with the presentation. Go one by one unit wise. So I divided the whole subject per unit wise right from the introduction part I made the phases. So in today's lecture we will start from the introductory part. So introduction part contains definition of the management, the historical development from the ancient world, how the management evolved. We will see the journey of the management in the historical development, the evolution of the management concept from the ancient world, how it is evolved, the concepts, the theories, how they are evolved from the time to time up to the modern era. So we will have a brief lookout into them. Next, we will try to understand the various schools of management theories. So, management concept evolved from the ancient to modern era, and various contributors have contributed in the theory how the management should be in the enterprise, their functions, their role, on what basis they must rely. So, we will have a brief lookout into them. Next, we will try to understand the management functions, what management actually does in the enterprise, how they organize the things happening in the office floor, shop floor, etc. Next, we will try to understand the principles of the management, on what basis the management should function. So, we will start from the concept of the management. So, we will try to understand first the concept of the management. What is the management? What should be understood by the word management, and how we will differentiate from the management from the administration and the other things. So basically management is the getting the work done from the people, not just getting the work done from the people with the satisfaction of the employers and the peoples. So it is the important criteria. We must emphasis on the getting the work done from the people with the satisfaction. So until they are satisfied, unless they are satisfied, they will not work effectively. They will not work efficiently, and our whole goal, the organization goal, will not utilize properly. So it is a concept, basic things to understand. So next is the guide. The role of the management is to guide, to direct, to control, to coordinate the human efforts. So whatever the peoples present, the are present in the organization, we have to utilize them. Unless there are peoples, the building of the enterprise is of no value. So people in the organization creates the value to the organization. So we have to guide the humans, we have to guide the peoples towards the organization goal. We have to direct them to work. We have to control the work they are doing by creating the boundaries, by creating some authorityships. We have to coordinate them, the management actually. So management does it all, to guide, to direct, to control, and to coordinate. So as a whole, it will work. Management is actually a servant of the enterprise. So management is working for the enterprise. Management is not a whole thing. So on the cost of that, the enterprise will pay as a part of the profit or the salary to the management or the peoples hired in the management. So it requires the technical ability to function properly. So we will look out into this, what kind of technical ability is required in the next slides. So management uses organization to achieve a goal of enterprise. Actually, enterprise, a owner of the enterprise or the partners of the enterprise set the management to use the resources available in the enterprise to use it effectively to achieve the goal of the enterprise. So management should be productive. It should add the value to the product, whether the enterprise producing the goods or it is engaging in providing the service like hospitals, bus facilities, transport facilities, or any manufacturing industry producing the goods and selling into the market. So they should add the value to the goods they are producing, to the service they are offering. Ultimately, management is also productive. They should produce the things effectively in order to enter the products into the market. So, from the well known management specialist or the writer, author Peter Drucker, according to him, the management is a multi purpose organ, just like a organ in the human body does a multiple functions. So that organ manages a business, also manages the managers, means the peoples involved in the management, and manages the employees, workers, and finally the work or the job or the task for which all the employees are taking the efforts. So it next we will move towards the introductory part, the functions of the management. The functions of the management starts from planning, the planning of the activities in the enterprise or in the organization, organizing all the activities happening at the shop floor or at the office floor, the staffing activities including the issues or the day-to-day operations related to the employees working in the organization. Next, management should do the motivation part, creating the passion in the part or the utilizing the passion of the peoples involved in the enterprise, understanding the needs of the each and every individual, because every individual comes from different background, having different skill sets, different personality traits. So management should use them effectively, or if they are facing some issues during day-to-day operations, during day-to-day activities, they should understand and try to solve them in order to maintain them, in order to coordinate them towards achieving the common goal of the enterprise. So we will look the function of the management from perspective that they should achieve the goal of the enterprise. From here, we are moving towards the individual goal to the organization goal or the group goal. Here, we are not interested in the individual goal, but we are interested in the organization goal. How well the management is the utilizing the resources available in the organization in order to achieve a common goal of the group, common goal of the organization, common goal of the enterprise. They should direct the people, to direct the group of the people towards the task allotted to the group, task allotted to the organization. The management should coordinate the things happening in the department, or coordinate the things and interdepartmental activities to maintain the harmonious relationship between the peoples, between the departments, between the man movements, between the material movements, execute the things, governing the things. Leadership is the most important part of the organization. Leader will govern the group, will lead the peoples in achieving a common goal, irrespective of the traits, irrespective of the problems, irrespective of the issues are present at the ground floor or at the group level. Controlling and IT, the same things is also present here. The controlling the situation or the controlling the task is required in order to achieve a common goal of the organization. Here I am again repeating the all the functions with respect to the common goal of the organization because management serve for the goal and ultimately they are getting paid from the enterprise for serving the goal. Next concept is the evolution of the management. Here up till now we can look out, we understood a concept of the management. What is the management? What actually management does at the organization level in the enterprise. Next we will look out into the evolution of the management, current management conditions, current management theories, how they evolved from the ancient times, how what improvements have been done in the management concept, and how many contributors and peoples took effort to develop or to improve the management within the enterprise. So at first we know, as per the Darwin's theory, people or the man evolved from the monkey. So we go back up from that time. So from that time, peoples are intended to organize into groups. So at that time, people are forming the groups to create a group for hunting or to uh, invade the other countries or the not countries groups or to create a war or to create a group for any means. So ultimately they are forming the groups to serve many functions. So from that time the management is required whenever the one or two or specifically two or more peoples are involved in the group, the management of the group is required. So we trace the roots into the ancient Greece where the principles of managements are effectively used, and we are having the documents available about the employee selection, delegation of the authority, etc. Later, a industry revolution in the 18th century come. A radical change of the management has been done because the management is utilized at the industry level, at the factory level, and all the activities we have to control them. So a brief study of the management concept is required from the industrial revolution. So after the industrial revolution at the factory level, formal theory is required to control, to coordinate the employees, to control the work and to get the things done from the employees about the related task. From the Egypt, if we can also trace the roots of the management from the Egypt, where they built the pyramids for the king's reign or to for the king, and they are in antique piece in the world. How they managed the thing to build the pyramids by a group of peoples, how they coordinated the main material movements is a great symbol of the management. We can also trace the route to the Babylonian Empire from the Tigris and Euphrates, a civilization occurred few hundred years ago. China and India having also civilization around 1500 years ago. China is having history of 1500 years ago, and India around 300 to 20 BC. A popular novel book written by the Chanakya or Kautilya as Arthashastra. So, Arthashastra, including various chapters, chapters dedicated to the management, to the economics, and how should be the ideal king, how should king govern its reign. So, all it is dictated, it is written in well manner by collecting the various things from the scholars available at that era. So, it is a great collection of the things related to the king's reigning an area. So also we can trace the roots to the ancient Rome where they formed the groups for crafts and trading in Latin villages, making the armors for the wars, pickling up the olives, trading up the olives, mining up the metals and salts. So it is a great belief that secret of success of Roman Empire lies in the ability of the Romans to organize. So many writers, authors highlighted that the Rome has an most powerful empire in the ancient world. So why they become the powerful, not just invading, not just playing the wars, but they become powerful. They sustain, they last longer because they are able to manage, they are able to well organized, they are able to well they are able to manage the empire, whole empire in all aspects. Also Indians also play an important role in the management. The gurus, the guru is an ancient tradition. Guru Shishya Parampara is an ancient tradition where his knowledge is delivered from the Guru to a Shishya, from a teacher to a student, where Guru serves a role of the teacher, a parent, a manager, a leader in all aspects. Where student is totally dedicated to the Guru for learning all the things about the life, about the education. So, both in India, China, Rome, the ancient leaders, a group of leaders present in ancient India, in ancient Rome, ancient China, are today's manager. So, it is a wise to say that they are today's manager. So, what these managers do? So, what these managers bought here? They bought accountants, slaves, scribes, just for accomplishing mission of the owners. They don't have any role for their own benefits because they are entirely dedicated to the owners. So whatever they bought is in profit of that owners. So after come the period of managerial awakening, so around AD 1750, as we discussed, industrial revolution in England came, is happened. So many factories have grown, the manufacturers have been formed. So they are trying to manufacture the engines and other things. For example, the steam engine. So growth and diversification happens. Factory system become dominant feature of the economy because majority revenue the king's reign is obtaining from the factories, and it's easier to govern the empire just by collecting the revenues from the factories. So they become the dominant and highlighting feature of the economy. So certain pioneers challenge the system from there onwards and bring new ideas. So we will try to discuss these some pioneers or contributors who brought the new concepts to the management. So first one is the Robert Owen from 1771 to 1858. He is called as a forerunner of the personal management because he said that performance influenced by shop floor conditions. So whatever the employee or the worker working in the enterprise at the ground level is influenced by the shop floor conditions. For example, working hours, for how many time he is engaged in doing the work, uh, in what condition he is living, that is housing facility. And next is the training of the workers. After some period of the time, workers or employees need training. So how well enterprise is facilitating the training to the workers. On that basis, the improvement in the enterprise happens. Next, canteen facility, how much well food is provided to the workers, to the employees. The rest places within the enterprise to compensate the fatigue. Kind treatment, obviously, it is an important significant parameter how much they well treated at the workplace for the work they are offering to the enterprise. He Robert Owen challenged me in the inhuman conditions by looking at the above factors. We can easily guess that he challenged the inhuman conditions. His focus is to provide the good facilities to workers, unless the performance will not be good from the employees. Next contributor is the Charles Babbage from 1792 to 1871. He mainly advocated the use of science and maths. He advocated that management should not be only to the judgment and opinions of the experience. He advocated the incorporation of the science and maths, also investigation and collection of accurate data to run the factory. He suggested use of the advanced technology, the machineries, the equipments available to get the things done. At that time, traditional methods, opinions, and rule of thumb are of the prime of importance. So, rule of thumb, we call it in modern era as a heuristics. So, he suggested use of the advanced technology instead of the judgments or the experience of the humans. Division of the work, he suggested to divide the work into the mental and physical efforts. He invented the analytical engine and used it also. So that's why we call it as a we term him as a forerunner of the modern computer. Evolution of the management continues to James Watt Jr. and Robinson Bolton. So James Watt Jr. is the son of the James Watt who invented the steam engine. So they both run the factory in the Birmingham. Within their factory, they used following the concepts: forecasting, the market research to forecast the future demand, forecast whatever the demand coming in the future from the history, from the past data available with us by doing the market research. So from that data we can also manufacture the things equal to the future demand. So he also used the planned machine layout, how machines are organized at the shop floor, so thereby we can reduce the material movement. And also main moment. Production planning, they plan the production for the future demand. Standardization of the parts, they standardize the parts so in minimum time, minimum wastage, and within minimum skills of the workers, they are able to manufacture the parts. They also pay attention towards the welfare of the workers. Next contributor is F.W. Taylor. His contribution is in mainly shop floor management. He considered the work as a fundamental concept, as a fundamental part, or the activities of the task is the fundamental. So he concentrated on the need of the systematic management. So he wrote many book. In the book of he published in 1911 entitled as Principles of Scientific Management, he focused on scientific study of each unit of the business. Intelligent investigation is necessary of the every task or the every work in the department, and the analysis of the different departments, different sections, or the different units. He also mentioned scientific method of doing work, or we will term it as a work study. How should we work in order to reduce the waste? Scientific selection of the workers. So depending upon what type of task we are allotting to them, select the workers according to it. Determination of the most efficient unit of the work, determination of the most efficient speed, and determination of the standards associated with the work. So Taylor's chief work is to separate the planning from the doing. So manufacturing and the planning he considered as a two parts. So manufacturing, smooth running of the manufacturing is important in order to effective production. So he separated planning from it, and planning will done at the separate level. So it will not interfere in the manufacturing. So production will not be halted, and we will get the smooth run of the production. Select and train workers. Select the workers according to task and train them if they are lacking in some skills. Time study. He suggested to study the time associated with each work. Suppose we are loading a job on the lathe machine, so we should study how much time is required. So within the loading of the job on the lathe machine, how much time we will waste each time we should calculate, and we should try to reduce that unwanted time or waste time. So division of the labor according to work or according to task, the standardization of the tool and equipment. So by doing the standardized work, we are able to standardize the tool, and we can get the tools or equipments at the lesser uh, price from the suppliers by doing the standardization. Next contributor is the Henry Fayol. He initiated the process school of the management. So he focused on administrative management, also pyramidal form of the organization. Administration is basically to set the goals of the organization or to set the goals of the enterprise. So he focused on the administrative management, the pyramidal form of the organization, like top one, so or the superior is the boss, should be only one, and up to the bottom, like a triangular form, at the base there are many peoples working for the work or the task allotted to them, and at the top level management should be only one person controlling all things in the enterprise. He pointed out that technical ability is more dominating in the lower level of management. Obviously, the employees or the workers at the bottom level are directly in contact with the manufacturing and the services offered to the customer in case of the service industries. So obviously the technical ability or the technical skills required are more required than the top level management. Top level management, as we go from the bottom to top, the technical content is lesser required because the coordination and controlling the peoples and all the things, main machines, is of the primal importance. The process school of the management. His process school of the management includes the scalar principle, departmentation, making the departments of the each highlighting activity, delegation of the peoples associated with each department working for the task of the department, unity of the command, working under one command and accountable for that command. Exception principle, span of control, authority, etc. How much authority, how many persons should be authorized to do the task is included in the authority. So next part, the purpose of the management, we will discuss in the next lecture.